Everybody, I am putting together my coffee, which I made fresh this morning. I make a big pot or a whole pot, and then I drink off of that for 3 days. I know that's sacrilegious to some people, but to me that's what I do. So this is my monk fruit sweetener. It's supposed to be quite a bit better for you. I like things really sweet, so I probably put more sweetener than other people in their coffee. And then I have my keto protein. Get that open, and I blend it. So this just gets 1 scoop. It smells really good. And this morning I did something different. I put my nutmeg in with my coffee grounds to see how that does. The one thing about the nutmeg is it does not dilute, so it's a bit grainy. And I also want to talk about, I was putting together just a pumpkin spice blend, but come to find out, when I started doing a little bit more research, ginger is really good for inflammation, as is ground cinnamon, and digestion. So even if you don't like pumpkin spice, at least that's a side benefit that you get from the ginger and the cinnamon. And I put 1/4 of a teaspoon of ginger and a full teaspoon, or half a teaspoon of the cinnamon. I really like cinnamon in my coffee, so pretty liberal with that. And then I just have this pumpkin spice mix that I'm kind of using up. So I put a very healthy teaspoon, half a teaspoon of that in there. This is 1/4 of a teaspoon mixture. So I add that in. Normally I have been putting nutmeg in too, but I'm going to try it in the coffee while it's being cooked to see if that still gives it enough flavor, but isn't grainy, because that hasn't been a lot of fun. I'm out of my coconut oil, so I am going to add a couple of tablespoons of butter this morning. Oh, that's super soft. That's going to be a pain. Let's see. Scooping butter out. This is hard while you're filming. Just saying, people. It's probably about a tablespoon there. Do 1 more big scoop. I'm going to have to put you down. About 2 tablespoons of butter in there, and all of my powders and my seasonings. And Drew Manning actually doesn't use butter because it's a dairy, and his has no dairy. So a lot of times it's just coconut oil. I'm out, so that's why I'm using the butter. The butter is so creamy and yummy. So I might just continue to do the butter, but I do also like the coconut oil. Gives you your MTC serving for the day. So then, as you can see the fill line, I then take my coffee and I fill to that. You can see the butter starting to melt. Look how beautiful that is. Okay, and then I add my little blender head because I want it all super blended. Get up a little bit, make sure that there's no stuff on the bottom, and then proceed to wake up the entire house. I do this for 10 seconds. And then pull that off, and then you get the super beautiful foamy top. And then I just go ahead, after I take the lid off, here's my helper. How cute is he? Helper, not a helper. And then I just add a little bit more coffee to it. All right, so I'll see you when I'm sitting down with my coffee, drinking it. Full foam. And yes, I drink my coffee with a straw. Don't judge me. All right, so I'm just gonna add a little bit more because that wasn't a full 12 ounces. That's about where the 12-ounce mark, when I have the full 12 ounces of coffee in there. So I'm interested to see how this tastes with the nutmeg put in with the coffee grounds and the salt. The salt keeps it from being bitter. And I don't like bitter coffee. I'm not a big fan of coffee anyway, but this way it's a little bit more sweet. You know where I'm going to go sit? Yeah? Got your drink? Your morning drink? We are ready. All right. I'm going to get all settled in, this area cleaned up, and I'm going to sit down and start looking at my dream book. All right. So I'm sitting here with my coffee. It's still pretty warm. I don't like super hot coffee. I just got up. Actually, he just got up. Well, no, I've been up for a while. The other baby woke up at 5 o'clock, and I've been up since then. So, I am down 2 pounds already, and as you can tell from the first video versus this one, the swelling is gone. I can breathe. My body doesn't hurt as bad. I am still taking 2 Aleve in the morning. Having real big issues with my knees. So what I've started doing in the morning is I sit down and I do my rituals for living dream book and planner that I purchased. Let me see if you can see it. Can't really see the inscription. Yeah, you can. There we go. This thing is amazing. Highly recommend it. It's through Dragon Tree. And, oh, here's the page. You can go on there and see all their stuff. But I've basically been sitting down with this every morning, and I go through it and fill out. There's tons and tons of questions. Consider the main areas of your life, what you're wanting, discovering your core values and gifts that you have, your purpose, evaluating your self-trust. That's something that I want to talk about because I went over that yesterday. So, good morning, hair. My thoughts on why dieting has not worked for me. And I think it's really come down to that self-trust. Is I tell myself I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it. And then I don't do it. And I've learned to not really trust that I'm going to do what I tell myself I'm going to do. So I'm adding these things in so that I have that daily meditation of what I'm wanting with life, what I'm wanting to do, how I'm wanting to live, and the person that I'm wanting to be, and what my goals are. This one does about a 3-year look at yourself in 3 years and what do you want? Where do you want to be in 3 years? This one's, I mean, really, you kidding? It's so cute. He's a helper. He's a helper. He'll tell you. So anyway, looking, 3 years into the future, and what do I want? Where do I want to be in my community, in my home? How do I want my friendships to be? That kind of thing. And a lot of this starts with the self-trust, doing what I say I'm going to do when it comes to myself. So with doing this every day, it's that daily reminder of what I really, really want, where I really want to be. And you know, this is starting it. It's awkward putting yourself out there. It's hard to let complete strangers into your life, especially when it's as sensitive as weight loss, and people who have not been really heavy and lost weight or dealt with all of the emotions that you go through while you're losing weight, they don't get it. It is really frustrating when they give you advice. My little dragon under the table, that's hysterical. So basically, I think I'm going to start the mornings with a little bit of coffee talk. This is what we'll do. We'll evaluate the day before. And what are you doing under there, for crying out loud? Oh, he's got my mouse. He had my mouse for the computer. That could have been disastrous. Here's your drink. So I think this is going to be something that I do, which is sit down with my coffee in the morning and just kind of discuss the day before, how the eating went, any emotions, that kind of stuff. Food intake was really good yesterday. I did video dinner, so that was a little hard and awkward. Everything is awkward. I have ordered the tripod, so that should definitely help. And I think that comes in on Friday. So until then, we're doing this. So let's see, I had my coffee for breakfast. For lunch, we had omelets. I had some leftover steak ribeyes, cut that up with some red bell peppers, cheese, and eggs. I'm a big fan of omelets. They're really easy. Drew Manning's book does a lot of like scrambles. I prefer them in an omelet. I do like the cheese. Again, I think when I hit the plateau, I will completely cut that dairy out and the little things. But right now, I'm losing, so I'm still good. But those are things that you have to evaluate when you're on a plateau. So, yeah, that's what we did for lunch. I have some homemade Nutella, sugar-free Nutella that I made. And so I had a couple of spoonfuls of that, which is really good. It's basically keto Nutella. My friend and I went and picked hazelnuts a few years ago. I've had them in my freezer. I have a Ninja blender, because that's how I make it, and I need to either get the Ninja Professional or the Vitamix. I really like the Vitamix, but I just don't see that being in my budget anytime soon, because the nut butters and stuff in the Vitamix, that works really, really well for that. The baby's now harassing the dogs. So, I also purchased I think it's called an almond cow. It makes homemade nut milk. So, and the big reason why I decided to go ahead and purchase that, because it wasn't cheap. It's $195. I will do a review on it when it gets here sometime this week. Is because any kind of baking that I do is with the almond flour, and the byproduct of making the almond milk is the almond flour. So this kind of gives me two things, and we are lactose intolerant in this household pretty much, so we don't do cow's milk. Like I said, I'm not milking my goats. I don't have any goats. I'm not milking my goats right now, so this is a way for us to get milk. And you don't have to just do almonds. Apparently you can do everything. So that gives me the control over the ingredients, which I like. And I not only get the milk, I get the flour, the pulp, which you then turn into a flour. And you can bake keto cookies and all that kind of stuff with it. So even though I am trying to do that stuff on a very minimum treat base situation, but not on a daily basis, it's still nice to be able to make your own and control the ingredients. So I think that's gonna do it for our little coffee break here. Oh, and then dinner I recorded, and we had flank steak and Brussels sprouts. So I will probably add that video in here this morning, maybe right after this. And then basically I will be back at lunch, and I think I'm gonna try and record preparing all of the meals for the day, and let me know what you think about that. I will figure out how to get the comments turned on in the bottom so that you can comment. And I also have an Instagram now, which is Cause We Can. What is that? Instagram.com/Cause We Can. So go check us out there. And we have started also a Facebook. So I'm going to work on learning how to put the links on the video. So I guess we'll see if we got that done on this video. All right, you guys have a great morning. Enjoy your coffee. Everybody, so I am making flank steak for dinner. His version is for tonight. We're supposed to be having garlic and herb flank steak with broccoli. I'm going to mix up the vegetables because we don't have any broccoli with us tonight yet. Haven't gone to the grocery for vegetables, so we're going to use what's in the refrigerator. He wants garlic powder, paprika, cumin, which are all good, salt and pepper. So I really like flank steak. It's one of my favorite meats. Our grill is under about a foot of snow, so I'm going to see about cleaning it off and then going and using that. But I might possibly be doing it in my cast iron pan on the stove, which is good. It's not my favorite. The grill's my favorite. So I'm trying to do this on my phone. We will see how it works. So I'm going to flip this around and show you what I'm doing. This is the flank steak. I have thawed it out and dried it off with paper towel. And we're just going to start seasoning it. So I am fairly liberal with the seasonings. This is smoked paprika. You basically just want to get it all over there. I do one side and then I flip the other, so I just have everything kind of lined out. The salt that I'm going to be using is Himalayan pink salt. This is a grinder, so I don't really know how well this is going to go. Yeah, that ain't happening. Can't do that one-handed. Let me see if I can figure out how to hold this. I have no idea what you guys can see. Whoops. I had to put you down for the salt and pepper. And then I've just dumped a bit of minced garlic on it, and then you're just going to rub it. I'm going to rub it around. I really like garlic, so whoever eats my food gets lots of it. And now we're going to season this side. Sides are done, and now I'm just going to let it rest for a little while and get the grill heated up. It is about 4:55 exactly right now, so we'll be eating dinner about 5:30. Look, I have helpers. There's one. She's not much of a helper. High because I want to cook it hot and fast. This can be a really tough meat to eat. It can also be very stringy, so you want to make sure that you cut it across the grain, not with the grain. So I'll show you that whenever we get to cutting it. So basically you're going to be cutting it this way into your slices, and it does cook pretty quick. Oh, that's terrible, that backlight. But that's what we're having for dinner. So I'll let you see it as we're going. Well, it's about 350. I like it to be 400. Like I said, quick and easy. Nice big flank steak. I'm just gonna throw that on there. I'm leaving my pan out here. I normally like to look at all the snow we got. Corgis in the snow. And the geese are flying somewhere other than here. Brussels sprouts. Trimmed off the bottoms, cut them in half, a little bit of almond oil, salt and pepper. And I'm going to cook these on the stove because I didn't have my oven heated up. I then end up adding almond slivers and a little bit of cranberry, which gives you a little punch of sweet. If I am plateauing on the diet, I will not add the cranberries because they do have carbs in them. I'm gonna go check on my grill now. Really good. Temperature is up to 400. It's about where I like it. It's shrunk up a little bit. Meat on the flames. Love it. No, I'm not left-handed, so that's not going to happen. Then you basically just want to flip it. There we go. Get that other side cooked. And that's pretty close to being done. So now, see, opening it just went up to 300, down to 300. So you don't want to be opening and closing your grill. You want to put it on there. You want to give it the few minutes to cook. You want to leave it alone and let it actually cook. Soften these. Oh, I also added bacon because why not? Bacon is amazing. I want to steam them a little bit, so I'm going to just add a lid. That'll help soften them. And it's been a few minutes on the second side of the, still got my helpers, of the meat outside the flank steak. So let's go check on that. The door is getting really hard to open and close. We're up to a little over 400. Look at that. Oh yeah. That looks really good to me. I'm going to pull it off. Clean my grill while it's hot. Shut everything down. Turn off my propane. Ooh, the steam coming from that. Yeah. I'll put the cover back on it once the grill is cooled. And I always forget and leave it for the next day, but it's supposed to snow again today, so tonight I better not forget it. Okay. I'll let this sit and let the juices do their thing. If you just cut into it right now, you have a tendency to get more of a drier meat. So I'm going to cover it with some aluminum foil and let it sit, cool down a little bit, suck the juices back in to the meat. Beautiful. I'm going to add some almond slivers. Get some more. I'm almost out. And then I don't eat a whole lot of the cranberries, kind of for everybody else, but a very small amount of cranberries. It really does just add to that little bit of sweet, really good. And then this is how I serve. It'll flip everybody over, it'll do their thing. These are pretty much done. I'm going to stab them with a fork. Here I got my helpers. Still helping because I dropped a cranberry. So yeah, they're getting tender. These guys are done also. So now I'm just letting that meat rest. The bacon looks done. Everything looks done in this. Oh, very good. It's going to be good. I'm going to turn that off. I'm going to put the lid back on it. If you don't own a cast iron pan, you should get one because they're amazing. And I'm going to clean up a little bit and we will be plating. Share this with you. Oh yeah, that That's going to be some good flank steak, nice and tender. She thinks she should get some. And then we have our bacon, almonds, I forgot what I put in there, Brussels sprouts, bacon, a little bit of cranberries, and some sliced almonds. Is this chicken pesto salad? I don't know pesto, so I'm not making it exactly, but I am kind of filing it, taking as a suggestion. So I have a zucchini. This is a zucchini spiroller. You just spin it on here and it shoots out. Kind of have to push it, but I can't because I don't have two hands. And I have leftover chicken from the other day. I'm going to heat that up in this pan. Whoops, dropped you. And the baby's got the he's got that. That's not good. Never ending. They got grilled cheese for lunch. So when I cook something for one of the meals, I try to cook extra because it's going to end up coming up again later. I am just going to add some butter in here to that. When you're doing actually quite a bit of butter, then you want to add, oops, no, I don't have you on there, an olive oil or something so that your butter doesn't burn. As you can see, this is a very non-keto pantry with all the baby's stuff. I'm into almond oil right now. It's got a higher burn smoke rate, so it doesn't smoke as much. We don't have super good ventilation in this house. Okay, so I'm just going to heat those up, finish cooking them. Finish getting that spiraled, and then I'll drop that in there. And they say 3 tablespoons pesto, some minced garlic, which I will add the garlic. I think I'm going to add this instead of the pesto because I don't have any. That stuff is insanely yummy, so get it. And then that's going to be my lunch. I'm going to finish this up and I'll show it to you when we're done. When doing your zoodles, you do not want to overcook them because then they're just mashed and they're gross. So these are zucchini noodles. You're just going to kind of get them in here, let them heat up a little bit, and then they're pretty much done. So it's actually a big tip because I've had them where they've been cooked way too much and they're not any good. It's just mash. It's just mush, really. So yeah, don't overcook them. It doesn't take very long at all. Lunch. Zoodles and some chicken thigh. He's having grilled cheese sandwich. We're having this. It's amazing. Okay, so this is what we're supposed to be making for dinner. I think this is considered day 4. Bacon bison burger. Well, we had our buffalo the other day, heating up my cast iron pan, and I'm getting fancy, you guys. Like, I got everything ready this time. Check into these. They're amazing. You can have your ketchup. They have a barbecue that's really good. This honey Dijon mustard, if you look onto the back, which it's all upside down, the total carbs are 1 gram. So I'm going to do that in this one. I am actually going to do just plain hamburger with bacon. We get bacon on it. That's not all the bacon that I'm doing. I'm making enough for 3 adults. And then there's actually an egg on it. So my pan has been heating up. My cast iron has. Ooh, that's probably going to be loud because I heard it the other day on the last video when I was cooking. This hamburger that I purchased actually happened to be a leaner burger. I had been reading that if it's not a grass-fed animal, that any of the bad stuff gets actually held in the fat. Really can't wait to be raising my own again. So I decided to go a little bit leaner, and I'm going to be cooking my hamburger in the bacon fat, which is not an organically raised pig, so that could be a problem too. So in my hamburger, I did put a little bit of almond oil for more fats, and then these are the seasonings that I've seasoned it with just to taste. That's what I have in here. So I'm just going to mix that in and then get in there with my hands, which I have washed about 100 times a day because babies, I mean, really, right? And dogs, that's all we got to say. So I'm going to get that just kind of all mixed in, and I really like to get this done quickly and then let it sit and let the spices kind of meld. I feel like it gets a better flavor. I'm going to be making, this is a pound of burger, and I'm going to be making 4 hamburgers, actually 3. 4, and then I'm going to have the boys actually eat one, so I'll split one in half for them. My pan's mellowed out a little bit, so this is going to cook a little bit slower. Let me get over here and wash my hands. So I really like how today's video has been going. I've been uploading it, and that is a big learning curve for me. So I had lots of time today figuring out how to load and upload videos, which is always fun. For me, I get super frustrated. But what I do have to say is I didn't eat through it. I wanted to, but I didn't. When I get super frustrated, I'm going to flip this camera around and talk to you where you're looking at me versus looking at the floor. Or she's cute. We can look at her. So the longer, the slower and lower on heat that you cook your bacon, the more fat that you're going to get out of it, which is amazing for cooking the burgers. So I'm going to turn this off here. I'm going to make my patties and get them ready, and then I'll be back on. Of course, you guys won't even know because it'll literally just flip right into the next segment. So maybe I just shouldn't waste time saying that. So my first batch of bacon is already there. I've decided on my vegetables for today. Zucchini and yellow squash in butter, because that's amazing. I do not salt and pepper those. I do it when it goes on my plate. I've got my second little batch that's ready to be flipped. My burgers are set up in my, all ready to go in the pan. Ooh. I turned up my heat a little bit too, and that's a little bit much. The one thing about cast iron pans is it heats evenly throughout the pan, so it will get pretty hot. I've got my egg that will go into that pan once the vegetables are done. And this is my mixture of mayonnaise with 0 carbs in it, sugar-free ketchup, and the little, very small amount of the honey Dijon mustard. It's really tasty. That's what I'll have on my, on the burger. He wants a chipotle mayonnaise, mayo, but I don't like spicy, so I don't do spicy. And I just kind of flip these around in the pan a little bit, let them cook. I cut them big. I like big chunky vegetables. They don't get mushy. I'm not a big fan of mushy vegetables. The bacon's low and slow. I know that I have the fan on and it's probably pretty loud, but this house gets smoky very quickly. Got all wiped off. You can put a lid on it, but I don't. I do save all of my bacon grease, which goes into this cute little homemade wine glass, and I cook with that. So this stuff is gold. I'll take about half of it out, put it in that jar, and then I'll start doing the hamburgers in the rest of it. So basically, I need 2 hands to do my egg. The one thing about eggs, I am going to do this over medium. I like my middles to be runny. I like it when you crack it open and it kind of runs all over everything. So I'm going to do that very low and slow in this. People, I've noticed, cook their eggs way too fast. And that's when you break the yolk and you don't get everything done and whatever. So I turn it on fairly low. I have it on 8.5 right now for these guys. So this will be a nice hot pan that egg goes into. And then I'll turn it down to probably 5, maybe 6, and let that finish out there. So that's basically going to be my dinner. I guess I will come back and show you once I'm done with the rest of it. Burgers in, I flipped them one time. Again, you just put them in there and you leave them alone and let them cook. The bacon I cut in half, so each person gets 4 pieces, so that's what's on my plate so far. Basically, when I plate it, I'll put the burger down, I'll put my sauce on top of the burger, the bacon, and then the egg on top of all of that. And here's my egg, cooked low and slow. Still a little crispy and fried around the edges. So now we're just waiting on the burgers. Dinner. Turn off this. There we go. It's a little bit. There's dinner. I got a little bit of bacon on the side. I've got my hamburger with my egg as a little bit of a runny yolk. Some super yummy vegetables. Hamburgers left over for the kids. Victor and Caitlin. And then right now this is what I have for the boys. So we will, I don't know what else I'm going to add. Maybe an orange. We'll see. Okay. Oh, dinner was amazing. I'm absolutely stuffed. Really good food day today. The boys are really having a hard time today. A lot of crying has been happening. But the first meal, the flank steak, was yesterday's dinner. And then so today we had the coffee. We had the chicken with the zucchini noodles, and then the hamburger with the egg and bacon and all of that. Really super tasty. I'm absolutely stuffed. So it's 6:11 now, and I will not eat again until probably 8 o'clock is when I'll do my coffee. So I will see you then, and we will talk about intermittent fasting. Good night, everybody. Enjoy my dinner. I did get, ooh, there's a big old glare. I did get the almond cow package in today, and that is for the nut milk. And I don't have any raw nuts here at all. So I'm going to try and get up early in the morning, run over to the store, depends upon the snow, so that we can give it a trial run. But I will open it in the morning with you guys, and we'll look at it and see what we think. All right, have a good evening. Bye-bye.